Thanks, Celine. I'm delighted to be here with you today. And you'll know the researcher background in me when I tell you that the word outcomes-based accountability has now been mentioned 22 times since we started this morning at 9:30. So my job today is to tell you a bit about what it's all about, but also I think to talk about what it means for PCSPs and their journey going forward. A bit about NCB to begin with. Celine talked about it this morning. So our role really is about improving outcomes for children, families, adults living in our communities, and to make our communities a better place for our children to grow up in. I lead on our evidence and impact work, our proof work, you'll see up on the slide, and as Celine says, the majority of my work to date is helping people understand what this is all about and how to get to grips with actually beginning to start using it. Yesterday, I spent the day with our South Eastern Trust colleagues, looking at how the model can be applied and support better outcomes for our looked after children. Tomorrow, I step into the work of the Department of Health to look at nursing and midwifery and the contribution that they can make to outcomes as we go forward. Why bother? Why is this big shift taking place to outcomes? We're all hearing it all over the place. Those are the 5 or 6 key bits to think about when you're embarking on an outcomes-based approach. It does very much give you that long-term focus. We now recognise that those problems in society aren't going to be fixed overnight. They give us something common and long-term to work towards, and I think what I took from this morning from Anthony is that it's great to hear about thinking now taking place about budgeting over a longer term, because it's very difficult to work improving outcomes if you're focused and your resources are all short-term. So it's great to hear that this morning. The second bit up there, discipline, it really is a change in how we work and a change in how we use our information and how we work in partnership together to achieve that. And the lovely PCSP managers who've had the pleasure of feeling the pain in the last 6 months of what this is all about. First of all, thank you and apologies for those long full-day sessions in roasting hot hotel rooms in Magherafelt and Belfast. But you'll see and you'll understand by now the discipline that's actually involved in working in an outcomes-based approach. However, what I would say is that PCSPs already have a foot up, because that engagement and that collaboration is already there. You have the structures. Lots of people are starting from scratch with this model. They're having to begin to develop partnerships and put the structures and systems in place for those to work. You guys have already got that, and it's great, and you have a foot up to begin that process. It's all about impact. And we'll talk a bit about that later on, and that's what PCSPs are going to be focusing on in their action plans for the next year. What difference are we making on the ground for the people that we serve? And transparency then comes into it, because the reports, having a look at the figures, understanding the impact, makes the whole process very transparent in terms of where our money's going. What difference are we making? Is our money being spent wisely? And that all-important question, is anybody better off as a result? What is it? It's not a magic bullet. I'm going to start by what it's not. It isn't going to give you all the answers. It's certainly not going to give PCSPs all the answers to solving problems. It is a structure and a different way of thinking and working to tackling problems. What it is all about is shifting that focus from outputs, from our bums and seats, from our people that come in the door, to actual outcomes, differences for people on the ground in our communities. And that's a huge shift for some of us. We'll all be used to talking about outputs, we're all very comfortable with it, but we now need to turn that on its head and ask ourselves a very hard question about what difference that we're actually making for our communities. Up on the screen you'll see a picture of OBA in Northern Ireland. Just a snapshot of some of the organisations and some of the systems in which it's in operation. You'll note Programme for Government up there, one of the more recent additions. But what I would like to draw your attention to is that this was happening here long before Programme for Government. It's been an approach that's been used, particularly in the children's sector, as a strategic partnership, for many, many years now. It's not something new. It's not something that's been brought in from overseas that we don't know anything about. We have expertise and we have experience here in Northern Ireland, and we're doing it well. But you'll see the variety of different organisations involved. So community planning obviously now coming in, lots of our local councils. using the methodology to develop their community plans. Lots of our health trusts already using the methodology to focus a wee bit more and be a little bit more strategic in how they deliver for the people that they serve. Lots of the programmes that came out of the Executive Office or with MDFM a number of years ago, all now very heavily embedding the approach in early intervention, child poverty. All of those themes and all of those big important pieces of work are now very much taking this outcomes focus. And you'll see the policing board up there now too, because about 6 months ago we began working with managers and officers from the PCSPs to begin to introduce them to the method and help them understand what it meant for them and what it will, the challenges, etc., going forward. It's great that they were all so interested and so there on the day, and I encourage the wider PCSPs to support them in the work, because it's not just the managers and the officers, it's the whole PCSP, it's the whole partnership that will be required to be behind the approach to make it work. A bit about what it's about. It has two uses, one of which applies at a population level. Okay, that's about very much a shared accountability for improving the well-being of our population in Northern Ireland. Programme for Government is our most recent example for that. Taking on that kind of shared accountability for improving outcomes at a population level, recognising that one organisation on its own cannot achieve that and will not achieve that. The police, as an organisation working on its own, will not improve road safety outcomes. It has to be in partnership with other organisations, and therefore it has to be a shared accountability for achieving it. Performance accountability, the second use, is very much about the difference that individual projects and services and programmes running on the ground make for the people that are taking part in them. Okay? So those beneficiaries of the PCSP action plans, those people that are taking part in different youth diversionary activities, in awareness raising campaigns, in whatever it might be, what difference are we making for them? And in that way, PCSPs are accountable for that. Okay? They are accountable for that change that they make on the ground, and they play a role in the wider population story. For the next year, the action plans are written. We've spent quite considerable long hours in dark rooms looking at the action plans and developing ways of understanding the performance of the PCSPs and how those actions are going to be delivered on the ground to make a difference. To do that, all of the key activities being rolled out from PCSPs are going to be answering those three questions you'll see up on the slide. First one, the easiest one, they'll be reporting on activity, on bums and seats, the usual stuff that we're all used to. Second one, their activities and their programmes of work will all be answering that quality question about how well their actual programmes were received on the ground. Did they get people engaging in them? Did they get people turning up? Did they get people sticking the course? Etc., etc. And the third and most important one that you'll see up there is anyone better off. This is where the shift lies. This is where we are data poor. We don't have a huge amount of evidence, not just in PCSPs, across the board. And this is where the shift is. Actually answering that question, so what? We've put all this money into these action plans. We're delivering all this work on the ground. Has it made a difference? And how are we going to actually answer that question? There's a worked up example for a youth diversion programme. Okay? You'll see the different types of measures that sit in each part of that box. Some about quantity, some about quality, and down in the bottom, the ones about the difference that we actually make. Looks simple, doesn't it? Looks really simple. Watch it, it's easy. I can tell you it's not. Answering those questions at the bottom takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of work. It's a new way of working. Heaven forbid, we're going to ask people, did they actually benefit from the work that we did? Huge shift in thinking. Looks simple on paper, but difficult to implement. So for PCSPs in the next year, they'll need the time, the space and the support to actually be able to pull this off. And this time next year, be able to stand up with numbers against that and say, in the last year, we've done this and look at the difference that we've made. And just to make things even more complicated, it's not enough to just get that data in place. That's the starting point. But what we must do is actually do something with the data. It's only going to be a useful process if we understand the difference that we make, but if we do something with that knowledge to actually improve and keep on that journey of making things better. In outcomes-based accountability, that's a process called turning the curve. You've probably heard it talked about. I hear it talked about all the time. I'm ahead of the curve. I heard yesterday was the newest one. But it, as if you like, is the kind of service improvement or planning process within outcomes-based accountability. And again, it's something that I think, because the partnerships are already established and in place, should be something that comes fairly easy to the partnership and should give them a better structure in terms of making better decisions about what they invest in on the ground and how they can make things better. That's a sample kind of structure of what an output of a turn in the curve exercise would look like. Okay? So let's look at our example from earlier. We've got our youth diversion programme. We've got a piece of data that tells us how many children, or what percentage of children are having reduced levels of contact with the police as a result of our programme. So what are we going to do now? We can see on that graph on the right hand side that yes, they're having reduced levels of contact, or they're having improved engagement in community activities, whatever it might be. But it's not getting there just as much as we would like to. The numbers aren't what we would like them to be. We would like them to improve, and we'd like them to get better over time. So we're going to use this process, turning the curve process, to do that. And what that means is we're going to get our partners in the room to spend a bit of time looking at that data and understanding it. What does it mean? What is it telling us? Why is it the way it is? What's causing our children and young people to engage in more antisocial behaviour? What are the factors at work? If we spend a bit of time doing that, we're going to be able to put better corrective actions in place. Because what we tend to do, human nature, here's a problem, here's a solution. Let's not spend any time thinking about the problem or identifying the causes and factors, but let's jump straight down to solution, because that's what we're really good at. So the partnership, along with those that need to be involved and in the room, will spend a bit of time looking at that. They might then think of other partners that have a role to play, other people that need to be involved in the discussion and that have a role to play in making and improving the performance of that particular programme. And then they come up with some ideas for how they're going to make the programme better. Okay? Pretty logical, simple structure, but I can't tell you how different it is to lots of the other kind of service improvement discussions that we've had in the past, because we drift off in tangents, or we jump straight from problem to solution. But we'll have a useful piece of data, and we'll be able to do something with it in terms of improving our services and programmes, and in terms of helping our partnership understand, is this worth investing in more? Should we be putting more money into this next year? Is it doing what we want it to do for people? Programme for government, we've already talked about this morning. You'll see the outcome highlighted there on the page about safe communities. That's what PCSPs are here for, to make our communities safer. How do they do that? How do they align themselves? And what role do they play? Here we go. We have all of our people in Northern Ireland in that big circle. That's our entire population. Programme for government, working at that level. In here we have our youth diversion programme operating in one of our PCSP areas. And we're asking that question, is anybody better off as a result of that programme? And we're looking at the measures about young people engaging in less antisocial behaviour, young people taking less risk-taking behaviour, whatever it might be. We've got our piece of data. Here we have our programme for government. Bigger picture up at the top. Our safe communities that we want to create. And one way we know if we're having those safe communities is by looking at the crime rate and tracking the crime rate. Another way of tracking it, fear of crime, levels of antisocial behaviour, all those indicators up there that tell us whether our communities are safe or not. So we have down here our means. the work that's happening on the ground in communities that PCSPs are involved in and delivering. And up at the top we have our ends. This is where we want to get to. It's what we're all united around achieving. And we talk about them having a contributory relationship. Okay? It is not cause and effect. We can't hold PCSPs accountable for the crime rate. But what we can talk about and what we can report on is the contribution that they make to reducing that crime rate through gathering better evidence about the difference that the work on the ground is making. Okay? That's me, folks. That's outcomes-based accountability. I was going to try to do it in a Scottish accent, but I fought against it.